Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Mahaguru Yash Architecture Classes, and we have started our preparation for the GATE Architectural Planning 2021, and for that we have started discussing small important topics from the different sections. So today's topic is interventions in architectural conservation, which is from the section 1. So architectural conservation is basically subdivided into two categories: direct intervention and indirect intervention. In case of direct intervention, we have preservation, consolidation, restoration, rehabilitation, reproduction, reconstruction. On the other hand, in case of indirect intervention, we have preservation from deterioration. So we'll start discussing with direct intervention, and our first would be preservation. So preservation basically deals with we just try to stop the further deterioration of the structure, and we do not actually do any kind of repair in the structure. We just try to let it be in the existed condition and stop it from further deterioration. For example, this is the city of Herculaneum in Pompeii, which was deteriorated with the volcanic eruption of Mount Vesuvius. You can see the volcano on the picture and the behind the ruins. So what did it is, the ruins are in the same in the existing state. They are not doing anything over it. No repair is done. They are just trying so that no extra deterioration is proceeded. Other than that, you can see Machu Picchu and the ruins of Lothal and Dholavira. It's in the same existing condition. The next is consolidation. So consolidation, as the name says, you try to apply or add something adhesive or support materials to the cultural property so that its structural strength is increased for a while. For example, the most easiest is the scaffolding, which is done to the peripheral stars of Taj Mahal. In case of Ajanta cave, you can see that the cave is being scaffolded by the scaffold. On the other Elephanta caves, new columns were erected. But the important part which here we'll be noticing is the old, in case of old columns, grouting was done. So what grouting is basically is, you create a small hole within the column and you try and you push in some other material like cement, slurry or something which strengthens that column. Other than that, Sun Temple of Konark and Jagannath Puri, you can see how so that the Shikhara doesn't fall away, they have been scaffolding is provided. The next is restoration. So what restoration basically means is, you try to bring back the original state. In case of preservation, we were just letting it be in the same condition. But in case of restoration, you try to bring back the original fabric. The principles of restoration is basically reviving the original concept, as you try to respect the original design, material and technique, and later whichever extra thing is added, you try to do in such a way that it doesn't break the harmony of the structure. There is a further kind of restoration which is known as anastolysis. So it's a restoration when when you try to use the same material and the same construction technique. So what happens to this is, you try to you get back into the original structure in a much better way. So one of the important example of anastolysis is found in Erythenia. So when you look at these six columns, you can never just imagine that which one of them is the new one. So that is how the anastolysis restoration is done. It should be in such a way that if you try to do the same material, the same construction technique, it is come out in such a way that you can not even think about it. The other example of plain restoration would be in case of Vishnupur and Konark temple. You can see in Vishnupur, they have tried to put in some terracotta tiles which doesn't have any carvings. On the other hand, similarly sandstones without carvings have been put. Since you've just used the same material, but the construction technique is also same. The difference is you've tried to respect it, but the carvings lack. So here This is the point where the anastolysis and plane restoration is different. The next is rehabilitation. So rehabilitation, basically you provide a structure with a new use. So this new use can be an economically viable way. So what happens basically, it's an adaptive reuse or adaptive reuse. So you are giving a new function to the old building. So the examples were old structures of Hampi and Jaisalmer. So what they have done is they have given these old structures to people to live, where they create their local handicrafts. So economically, the amount generated can be used for the repairing of the structure and also acts as the livelihood and the money for the people there. The last is reconstruction. So what happens in reconstruction is, due to a larger reason, the monument need to be demolished and is reconstructed on a uh, somewhere else. So the structure has to be properly documented, dismantled, and then reconstructed. So this is basically done so that something big happens, because of which the structure shouldn't get cost. You do something else. You try to shift the position of the structure. So example is Abu Simbel was reconstructed on a higher terrain. So earlier temple of Ramesses was on a lower terrain, and due to the flooding of the Nile river, it was about to get submerged. Hence, the people at that time, somewhere in the 90s, 19th century, it was around, I don't remember, but 1920s or 30s, they just deconstructed the temple, properly documented it, and then reconstructed on a higher terrain. So you can see how documentation of building different building parts is done. It is easily visible that how on every part, since it's an Indian context, these numbers shouldn't be that visible. The last is reproduction. So sometimes what happens is, they're existing, there a structure, a monument, or a sculpture existed, but due time, the structure just dilapidated and got demolished. Something or the other happened. So what we do is we reproduce that structure. So how do you reproduce that? You do a lot of recon and survey. You collect data from libraries here and there, and then rebuild that whole structure. The example was the sculptures of Shantiniketan. So these structures existing very long back, but due time they just got vanished. Hence the artist there did a lot of documentation and then further created these sculptures again. The last, so we've tried to complete your direct intervention. The next which we'll be considering and talking about is the indirect intervention. So in case of indirect intervention, we just have one process, which is prevention from deterioration. So in case of prevention from deterioration, we can see, you remember preservation. So preservation, we were just letting it be there, just prevent it from further deterioration by various processes. But here, in case of prevention, we are doing a similar process, but uh, in case of preservation, we are only dealing with natural calamities and natural processes. But here, we will deal with both natural calamities and processes as well as human tendencies. Like we can provide the structure from negligism, vandalism, and you do have a sound maintenance policy. And also, we try to deal with natural problems as well. Like in case of Mahabalipuram, a thick afforestation has done around the temple. So this was basically done so that the salt-laden air coming from the sea doesn't deteriorate the temple. Some other example is the Calico Museum in Ahmedabad. So what happens here is it's a textile exhibition. So how they have tried to conserve this textile is, when you visit the museum, you're not allowed to click photographs, because the rays which come out from the photograph from the camera might ruin the fabric of the textile. Other than that, instead of a direct sunlight, they try to use more of in diffused sunlight. So there is no direct light on the textile. Other than that, they have also tried to ensure the amount of humidity, because humidity might lead to rotting of these textiles. Hence, only if, some visitors are allowed during particular time of the day, and dehumidifiers are also used. So, guys, this is it for today. Today's video. You by now you people have got to know that I have recently launched my Gate Architecture and Planning ebook, which is available on Amazon Kindle. It basically has solved question papers from 1991 to 2020. Other than that, I have also provided you with a picture book which consists of architects and their buildings, some landscape plants inventory. Other than that, you also have a chronological order of Pritzker Prize Award winners. With this, you will also find a small study material, in inbuilt study material, which has all quick last minute tips and tricks. One could just only buy the picture book, just the picture book, which will only consist of your architects and works, your plan inventory, and the you will other than these two, you will also find the Pritzker Prize Award winners. So you need not to worry that you do not have an Amazon Kindle account. So Amazon Kindle have their own Kindle app on Play Store and iOS. You could just easily buy it on the app and you can have the book on your fingertips. Other than that, I guess by the end of September, we'll be also launching our paperback version for this book. So don't worry, we'll be back with. So if someone who's not comfortable with online studying can also have this book at and a pet paperback version. So thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video. I would like if you could subscribe, share, and comment, and we could just prepare for the exam together. Thank you.